It's better to receive than to give. I know what you're thinking. He's got that backwards. But the reality is, when it comes to running a business, we need to receive before we can give, right? Which is why I want to look at accounts receivable management before we get into accounts payable management. All kidding aside, let's take a look at what accounts receivable management looks like in Bill.com. I think it's important to note here that the accounts receivable integration is in fact a two-way. In other words, I can produce an invoice either on the Bill.com side or in my accounting software, and either way it'll sync up. So if I want, I can take advantage of the templates that Bill.com offers. You're also going to see that Bill.com allows you to automate certain receivables-based processes, such as after 30 days, send a notification, a reminder that it's due, right? 60 days, you can send a little stronger message, let's say. And then over 90 days, you might want to send the strongest message, essentially saying, hey, look, after this, it's time to go to collections. So you can automate those processes. This way, again, it's one of those things that you don't have to worry about following up because you can set it and forget it, and then hope that those notifications work and get you paid. And of course, what's going to happen is the customer hopefully will pay you. They have several choices based on how they can pay you online. Bottom line, once they pay you, if they click on the Bill.com link, that money comes in through your Bill.com money and clearing account and automatically syncs back to QuickBooks, so you don't have to post a thing. And that's the key to this. It really substantially creates greater efficiency with respect to accounts receivable management. Let's take a look and see what this looks like. Now that we've completed the setup of Bill.com and we've successfully synced it with Xero, we're ready to start managing accounts receivable with Bill.com. So the first thing I did, and I went ahead and did this off recording, because I don't think you need me to show you how to create an invoice in Xero. If you need to learn that, I have a course on Xero that'll show you how to do that. But I created the invoice here. Notice it's to some customer, and it's on May 16th, and it's for $1,000 for bookkeeping services. Then I logged back into OneSAS, and I synchronized, and then I come over here to Bill.com. And you know, it's funny, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking about this. One of the complaints I get from people is I don't want to use all these different apps, as if I have to walk 3 miles to go from one app to the other. But I mean, look at this, case in point. Here's Xero, here's OneSAS, here's Bill.com. So I click over here, I create an invoice, I click over here, I synchronize, I click over here, and everything's going to be there. So if I go into receivables and I go to invoices, I'm going to see my invoice right there. Here it is. I can click on the invoice number. And of course, it's going to give me all the information about the invoice right here. It even lets me know which invoice template. And that only applies, that doesn't apply, of course, if you sent the invoice out of Xero, then you've used the template that you're using with Xero. But you can also create invoices from Bill.com, and there's only one choice for templates here, and so that's going to be this clean template, which if I click on the link, you can see exactly what that looks like. And I'm going to go on a quick rant here about this because, you know, I get a lot of feedback from customers of my own, you know, where they want to spend all this time customizing their invoices because it's branding and it's marketing. And, you know, I can speak to you from the perspective of somebody who's been on the receiving end of lots of invoices, and I can tell you that I don't care what your invoice looks like. I don't care how gorgeous it is. In fact, I've gotten invoices where it was clear they put so much time and care into making it gorgeous, and yet I couldn't stand those invoices because the same ones, in some cases, I had the most difficult time finding the information that I really cared about and needed, which was the information I need to enter a bill quickly. And if you want to get paid quickly, then that's what you need to focus on. Not so much having a gorgeous invoice, much more important to have an invoice that makes it easy for the person on the receiving end to find and enter the information they need to get you paid. And what are we talking about? We're talking about the invoice number, the invoice date, and the due date, and probably the invoice total. How much do I owe you, right? Those are the main things I care about. You know, maybe the term. So looking at this, you know, it's boxy, it may not be gorgeous, but it's functional, it gets the job done, and that's all that matters. And of course, when you upload your company logo, that'll show up here on the actual invoice template. That's all that matters. So if you're an accountant or bookkeeper looking at this and thinking about how to explain to your clients how unimportant it is to have a beautiful invoice, then just show them this video. If you're the business owner and you're thinking you need to have a gorgeous invoice, I'm not saying it should look horrible. I'm saying the most important thing is that I need to find the information quickly, because when I'm on the receiving end, I don't want it to take a long time. In fact, there's a good chance if I have difficulty finding your information and I've got a stack of invoices to enter, or if I'm using Bill.com and I've got 30 in the queue that I have to enter, yours is going to get put aside until later when I have more time and frankly patience to go looking for the information. So don't make me look for the information. Make sure it's really easy. But that's a little quick bit on invoice templates and where I'm at on that. Backing up in my browser, again, a beautiful thing about working with software that runs in your browser is being able to use that back button. Notice here I can make notes. I can say, hey, and notice I can make it visible to the customer. So I can make notes and say, hey, can you explain X, Y, and Z? And I can check this off and click add. And the customer will be notified. And what happens when you set a customer up in Bill.com is using the email address that you've established with their account, the one that you use to send the invoice to, they can log into a free account at Bill.com and they can manage all the invoices that they have with you. So that it makes it very easy for them to get in there and manage. That's when you're sending bills. So if I want to create a note and make it visible to my customer as I'm sending them the invoice, or after the fact when they log in to check to see what they which invoices of mine they paid and haven't and so forth, they can do that and they'll be able to see any notes like this that I've made. So that's a really handy feature. Again, taking advantage of the SaaS aspect. In desktop software, there's no possible way I could do something like that. So notice here on the right, it gives me the basic information. It says that the invoice is unpaid. Let's back up one more screen and back to the invoice summary. So that's pretty much as complicated as it gets in terms of entering the invoices. Of course, if you're, everything syncs over. You saw that in the setup. We've got our items. We've got, let's go create a new invoice real quick. We can create one right here in Bill.com, and you can access your items. Everything you need to be able to access is accessible right here. And you can check this off to have Bill.com print and mail it for you. Remember, there's a cost associated with that. And that's basically it. It's pretty straightforward. You can list your items, the description, the quantity, the price, the account, right? What account does it go to? That's going to be perhaps an expense account. So all this information can easily be laid out and established. Another really cool feature for those of us who are actually employing the concept of value pricing, such that we're sending a monthly invoice for the same exact amount every single month, you can set up recurring invoices right here in Bill.com. And of course, they'll sync back to Xero or QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks Desktop, whatever you're syncing it to, right? So here I set up the recurring invoice. Notice it looks substantially similar, except I'll have some recurrence options, right? So frequency. How often? Is it going to be every day, week? It's probably going to be every month. Okay, when does it end? Maybe it ends after 12 months, right? Because it might be a one-year contract, or maybe there's no end date. Of course, I'm going to choose the next due date as I'm creating this, and then I can establish that I want it created maybe a day or two before the actual date that the invoice is set to go off, or the actual date of the invoice, I should say. So that's all you need to know about the recurring part. Everything else is the same as any other invoice. Notice also, once I'm in receivables, that you have all this across the top, so that you can easily access all the same stuff that comes up here in the drop-down once you're kind of in the receivables universe here. Another important thing I want to show you, because I already mentioned the fact that customers of yours can log in and access all the invoices that you've ever sent them since you started using Bill.com, and they can see what they paid, what they haven't, and they can pay you through that portal, and that doesn't cost them a thing. If you want that email address, that URL that they need to use to access their account and log in, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go over to, under settings, go to overview, and you want the branded website address. You actually saw me set this up during the setup lessons, but you might not remember by now. So what I did was I put /nerds at the end of it. So it's always going to be app.bill.com/p/ whatever you've put there, right? So what you can do is you can right-click and copy this link address, and you can establish in your invoice template in Xero or wherever or if you're sending it from Bill.com, in the message that goes out, what you can do is you can establish that link in the text of the email that goes out with your invoice, and I would put it in nice big bold print saying, hey, we've made it really easy for you to pay us online. And customers can pay you either by ACH, or they can, if they're using Bill.com, then it's really easy. Then all that you need is their payment network ID. So it's great when you start working with other people who are also using Bill.com. There's the payment network ID right there. So your customers can pay you directly if they're using Bill.com using this network ID. So you've got your branded email address. You can create invoices on either side in your accounting software or Bill.com, and it all syncs up beautifully. And then you get this nice receivables overview. But in this demo company, I've only created one invoice. So let me quickly take you over to a different part of the Bill.com world. Right over here, and you'll have this available to you as well, under Getting Started from the home screen, explore Bill.com with sample data. So let's see what this looks like when we've got some meat in the file, right? So if I just click receivables, it takes me to the overview. Of course, that's also the first choice. And this is really handy because I come in here every day if I want to, or once a week, or whatever your process is, and I click overdue. And let's say, for instance, there were 10 invoices here. I could select all of them, and I could just send them via email. Now, one of the things that I like to stress here on this is that a lot of times we want to send statements when their invoice is past due. Personally, I think that's a waste of time because I stopped doing it years ago for the simple reason that I would send statements and then the customers come back and say, oh, we don't have this invoice. Can you send us a copy? So to me, it's much easier to just resend all the invoices that are outstanding. And it might even annoy them enough to make them want to pay you. So that's the other part of that, is this way you eliminate that potential slowing down of the process so you can get paid faster. It's all about getting paid faster. And with a product like Bill.com, it's all about managing and improving cash flow. And that's what it's really designed to do. And you're going to see that at the end of the payables chapter, because after I finish going through the payables, I'm going to show you the cash flow aspect of Bill.com, which is really powerful if you've got everything running in and out of Bill.com, which means you got to get all your receivables going through Bill.com and all your payables going through Bill.com. Not hard to do. And once you do, you'll see the power of what you get to be able to do as a result of that with Bill.com's cash flow management tools. So that's coming up in actually the next lesson. But going back to receivables, we have our receivables. You've got the overview. Get paid. You can actually go in here and you can pick a customer who owes you money. And if you have their information, you can record a manual payment, or you can let them authorize you to charge their card, right? So you can say, I'm authorized, automatically pay my bills, and so on and so forth. So you got to save and add a bank account or save and add a credit card, which means they have to give you their information and agree to let you charge them automatically that way. But really handy feature, because then if you are able to do it automatically, then you send them an invoice and it'll automatically charge whatever account they've given you to have on file. And you'll, again, improving cash flow, constantly finding ways of improving cash flow. And it's funny because I'll have clients who I'm trying to turn on to Bill.com and they'll tell me, oh, you can do all this, and a seasoned QuickBooks professional can do everything Bill.com does. Without Bill.com, just doing it in QuickBooks. And this is a perfect example of where that's completely untrue. It's Bill.com does so much more than what QuickBooks can do on its own, or Xero can do on its own. It really facilitates the improvement of your cash flow process. It's just that simple. Over here, we can access our items. Right, and this, of course, again, syncs back. You saw in the setup, we established that we want to sync our items both directions. Here again, you'll get a list of any invoices, right? So here's what it looks like when you've got several. You can show inactive invoices. Again, we have recurring invoices, and again, over here, we've got payments. So payments will show you any recent payments, or payments that are maybe outstanding. So you can choose what status you're going to see. You can say any, paid, void, scheduled, canceled. So if you have scheduled payments in here that haven't come in yet, you can check and see what's in this queue. So again, that's really handy. And of course, here I can click New, and that takes me right over to the Get Paid screen. So we already saw that. That, my friends, is how you manage accounts receivable in Bill.com. As always, if you have any questions, please post them in the Answers forum, which is available to students only at schoolofbookkeeping.com. If you're not a student, become one, so you can use our Answers forum and post your questions there, which again is available only to students of schoolofbookkeeping.com. Otherwise, you can post your questions on any of our public forums, and I'm sure somebody will get back to you timely with an answer. That, my friends, is what I have for you for now on accounts receivable management in Bill.com. I hope you had some fun along the way while you learned something here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. Now that you've seen how to manage the accounts receivable process in Bill.com, it only follows naturally, of course, that we want to take a look next at what it looks like when you're managing accounts payable in Bill.com.